My name is Gary McDonald, if you don't know who I am. I'm an associate professor of mechanical engineering. I've been here for just a mere 32 years. But when I first came in 1985, Dr. Jones had already arrived 10 years before me. He's been here 42 years. So just a brief, most of you know Dr. Jones very well, but just a brief synopsis that he came to us from North Carolina, has 3 degrees from North Carolina State. He did a stint at the EPA and the Arnold Engineering Development Center working in industry. He didn't arrive to UTC until around early 40s, which for a professor nowadays seems old, but nowadays everybody comes around here in the 30s like I did, I suppose. But he stayed for 42 years, has had a distinguished career. He's the teacher's teacher. A lot of you have had his classes that are sitting in this room today. He made the Tennessee Jones his own after 1981 when Raiders of the Lost Ark first went out in the movie theater. Dr. Henry Jones, who was better known as Indiana, became Dr. Michael Jones, better known as Tennessee Jones. And Tennessee Jones showed up on test both in the beginning courses of basic engineering science, vector statics, thermodynamics, and fluid mechanics, and he's been in those tests for the past 42 years. And many of you have had to solve those problems. I've even had to solve a problem or two, and these are not trivial problems for those who've ever worked them. These are very challenging problems in Tennessee Jones. So, just wanted to say those few words, and we're going to have a short introduction, which I just did, and we're going to have some of our speakers come up, and I'll introduce them as we go through. Our first speaker today is the current Dean of the College of Engineering and Computer Science, is Dean Daniel Pack.
I don't know whether I would call it speech, but here goes. Thank you all for being here. We appreciate it very much. I think numbers speak very loudly for Dr. Mike Jones. First number is 42, you heard. He's been serving in the university for 42 years. That's a long time. That's longer than I've been alive. No. The second number is he has won more than 20 Teaching Excellence Award from the university, outside the university, from the college, over that 42 years. The third number is that there is, in a very rough, a very conservative measure, number 20,000 students that he molded and shaped and educated over the time that he was here. Probably there's a lot more than 20,000. But the number that I want you to pay attention to is the middle number of more than 20 teaching awards that he received. What that means is that every other year, almost, he won an award of his teaching excellence. And that teaching excellence has affected so many of you, I believe, and that's why this room is full to celebrate your legacy and the dedication that you have put into our college and the university and this community. So I want to thank you so much for that. That number, 20 plus teaching excellence, is important because if you're here long enough, you'll get that first and the third number, right? But because that the second number, the third number is meaning that 20,000 plus students were molded in the right shape. They learned in optimal way because of that second number. That first number is important because of the second number, because that's how long you were able to make an impact to so many people in the college and at the university. So we're very grateful for what you have done. I know Dr. Jones came here. There was a brief remark when he came in 1975, and he served as the dean, if you will, the head of engineering program. So we're indebted for his work during those years to really grow our discipline-specific engineering program that is now today in the college. The college has a little over 1,500 students now, with 5 different departments, 4 of which are engineering departments that Dr. Jones has helped us to grow. So we appreciate that much of all the things that you have done. As a faculty member, he also served as volunteer coach of track and cross country over 20 years. And he was recognized last year as Southern Conference's All-American Faculty Team. Is that correct, Dr. Jones? Yes. So, and I always had a chance to see his picture running when he was young. I saw that picture. And it just looked just like the picture of Usain Bolt running. So it was great. So I want to thank you for your service for the last 42 years and your dedication for the education of our students. And thank you for enriching the lives of our students, staff, and faculty. Please remember that you have touched so many people's lives. So thank you.
Thank you, Dean Pack. In the midst of me introducing people, I've come up with some things that you might know, especially if you've had Dr. Jones in class. Some words and phrases that are in the Dr. Jones vernacular that you just understand. When something was not at the right position, he had this word that he always used when I first met him, and it's called cattywampers. And I didn't know exactly what cattywampers was, but it was said not this way, not that way. It's just all cattywampers. So, you know, that was one of those words that always puzzled me. Never got to keep in mind, I've been here 32 years. I've been here almost as long as he has, not quite. And I've had an office next door to him for the past 14 years while we were in the new building, the MCS building. One of the other things that was in class that I heard sometimes, we talk in terms of letters. You know, sigma this and sigma that and tau and I and J and all that. So he was talking about I, which they make moment of inertia. And he kept saying, you know, I's in the problem. You's in the problem. We's all's in the problem. So, you know, things like that are typical Dr. Jones. You know, if I have 5 words to describe Dr. Jones, it would be passionate, dedicated, very humorous, very artistic, and athletic. It's a very odd combination for an engineer, that's for sure, but he had all of those qualities. I want to introduce, even though he didn't want to say any words, Dr. Fred Aubert. Dr. Aubert is our longtime chancellor at this university. I had to look it up, Dr. Aubert, because I wasn't sure. You were here from 1981 to 1997, and then you didn't have enough, so you came back back 1 year for interim chancellor from 2004 to 2005. So, and you know, one of the things, since Dr. Aubert didn't really want to say too many words today, but I'm going to tell a story that Dr. Jones told me about him. Now, remember, in storytelling, you don't always have to be true, and I don't know how much truth this is, okay? But anyway, the story goes like this. Dr. Jones came up to Dr. Aubert, and you know, they had just built the parking garage. And the parking garage is nice and beautiful parking garage and everything. One of the first buildings we had built on campus in a long time. And supposedly Dr. Jones came up to Dr. Aubert and says, well, Fred, is that going to be named the Fred Aubert parking garage? And Dr. Aubert just kind of looked usually Dr. Aubert laughs very great, like, yeah. And then Mike saw I didn't get that reaction he needed. He said, well, Fred, it could be worse. It could be the Dr. Fred Aubert Memorial Parking Garage. And that elicited the correct response. So anyway, then I'd like for the next speaker to say a few words is our other former chancellor here today, Dr. Bill Stacy. Dr. Stacy was chancellor here at UTC from 1997 to 2004. So Dr. Stacy.
Well, what a good day. I'm delighted to be here and to be a part of this and to see my friend come home. Two things that I would say in my words, what about this guy? I would say to you what you already know, that he illustrated what we're most happy about in any university, and that is a faculty. My wife always tells me that there is the faculty and the current administration. So, Dr. Aubert, you had to take a year off to cover for me while I was doing something else and came back. But the teacher, and that's what I would say about my friend Mike Jones. I look at the teacher who is that without which nothing can happen and nobody could do whatever they wanted to do. He taught a lot of you. A lot of you understand something that he only could bring to you, and he made a difference in your life. I got a chance to watch him and work with a little bit, and I know him as a consummate teacher. And if you just wanted to put on a picture somewhere, what's a faculty member look like? Grab his picture before he gets back to Texas, because that's what a faculty member looks like. He gave a long-suffering, frankly, a good, kind heart, all the kind of teachers and staff we had at the university. And what he did to show us how loving kindness works with his wife, it showed us that's what a teacher does. It wound up in his class. To be able to know that the kind of things he did for Bill Gautier, to say, I want to be an assistant to you so I can watch you. So they got together, and the coach was terrific, made great things happen because of his buddy, Dr. Jones. I love to have the chance to know him, and I describe him in that word teacher. And I would want to say that when I came to the campus, it was 1997, and the parking garage and the football stadium and other things were going. It was a lively, lively place. And Dr. Jones was one of the first who came by to meet me and to tell me bluntly he needed an engineering building. So I thought, oh, nice little welcome. And after a few minutes with that conversation about how bad we need that, he looked me over and he said, you run, you look in good shape. And I said, well, not really and truly, but yeah, I jogged a little here and that. And he said, well, Chancellor, when you get here, you come line up here and we'll go out to run and I'll kick your butt. So he did it. It's exactly what he said to me. And I thought, no, I really got the welcome to come to town. What a great place. What a great man who brought so much goodness to this campus. My wife couldn't be with us tonight, but she wanted to say Dr. Jones would never believe it if my wife was not here to say, you said Bill wouldn't get that building, but there it is. So poor guy, he hears that every time that he and my wife say hello. So before it's over, he'll be calling her up or she'll be calling him, and they'll be swapping that, what it made a difference. I love the chance to work with faculty, especially this one, because it allows us to know and to be reminded what is a university for. And it is that faculty member that holds the ability to teach. You expand the faculty to say faculty and staff at UTC. One of the most amazing things is that faculty and staff members interacted with each other, held the same respect mutually for each other. And what a nice thing to say, to see, and just to live it and be a part of the campus with it. I love what you have done, Dr. Jones. Welcome back home, and come see us again. Thanks.
A couple of other things I've heard Dr. Jones say over the years, and I've actually started saying them myself. Now, that shows you how things rub off. When I go to a lecture hall class, I look at my class, I ask, do you have any questions? And as Dr. Jones would used to say to me, they look at you like a tree full of owls, not say a word. And that is so true. So, as you've all heard, he's been able to be, the consummate teacher. He also was a very good researcher. Back in the day, he worked for, I knew I was going to forget, Dr. Perkins, thank you. See, I didn't have it written down. The 62-year-old, I forget the name. He worked for Dr. Perkins. Dr. Perkins was an expert in the aerodynamics field back in the 50s. And Dr. Jones did some quite cutting-edge work at North Carolina State in aerodynamics. One of his passions has always been airplanes. And he and Dr. Cunningham today would talk airplanes. I don't know all the different designations of Boeing and McDonnell Douglas and all that, but they would talk hours about airplanes. It was just a passion of both of them. So Dr. Cunningham here today was in the Air Force and worked on B-52s, and Dr. Jones had studied airplanes and aerodynamics for all of his career. So he did do quite a bit of good work in Dr. Perkins' day, and he was very close to Dr. Perkins over in North Carolina. As we've already mentioned, he's quite an athlete, and we have some people here that were in the men and women's cross country and track today, and he was very close to my next speaker. Dr. Bill Gautier, Dr. Bill Gautier, no, Coach Bill Gautier. I just promoted you, thank you. And Dr. Gautier, I'm saying it again. Coach Gautier, and Dr. Jones have been together a long time through the cross-country and track program. Even one of our assistant professors, Chuck Margraves, was one of the runners here, who's over here at this table. So Dr. Jones was the faculty athletic representative of the FAR, is what they always call him, for many, many years here at UTC. And then a couple of years ago, he was the first UTC recipient of the Southern Conference Faculty Hall of Fame. So that was quite an event there at the arena one night that I was privileged to be to witness. So, with no further words, Coach Gautier will be up here and say a few words.
Wow, I wasn't going to get emotional. You can't pick your family. I've been told that my whole life, but you can pick your friends. I pick Doc first every time. The times that we have spent together I can't even begin to tell you how it all started, but I will tell you it's ended with the great, great honor of being your friend, Doc. And you know you're famous when you're known by one name. I mean, there's Elvis, there's Prince, Madonna, and there's Doc. You've reached it. You've reached the pinnacle, Doc. And, I used to think that Doc and I were each other's wingman, like Goose and Maverick, but turned out to be as more like Mr. Peabody and Sherman. And, that was cool. I was cool with that. And Doc's had an influence, my beautiful wife and daughter, my other daughter. And very rarely in your life do you have somebody that can really just determine your outcome. One day, I was headed south to a school in Florida, and not too long after that, I was back in Chattanooga. I mean, there's not many people that can influence your life to just change a dream job to come back to the real dream job. Like Dr. Stacy said, and Dr. Aubert, this community of Chattanooga has just been incredible to my family, and Doc has been the biggest part of that. Doc has welcomed with all his love and heart. There's nothing that man does not do on a daily basis to help people. And if I had an angel, it would have to be him. He's been there through my darkest times, and he's been there through the brightest times. And, I know he's loyal, and he's everything you'd want. I mean, he is so loyal. I mean, he's a constant. He's like the Halley's Comet, and I'm sure he's seen it several times. When I first came here, there was a race I put on. I wasn't sure what to do, and there's this man come out of the stands, and I go, well, we don't have your age category. He goes, well, what's that? And I go, dirt. It's dirt. Doc just went out and ran harder, and Doc has changed so many people's lives, and I know I just see it as part of the athletic group, but I see it from Chuck Margraves, the little skinny kid that came to Chattanooga with no hope, no desire, and no talent. Doc said, get off that man's back. Doc took that guy, and look at him now. He's an outstanding engineer, and Doc and I felt like our kid grew up. And Chuck, we can't tell you how proud we are of you and your accomplishments, and that's what Doc does. Doc takes people and gives them opportunity to uplift themselves. And unbelievable. I could go on, and I won't, but Doc and I have spent 24 years together, or 26 now, and we just have that bond, and it's so awesome that you really rarely have that bond with somebody outside your family. And Doc and I just, he was my wingman, and every time I have a little something here I want to give to Doc. every time at a track meet, I would try to be upset, and I would try to be mad, and I'd try to be angry instead of life's lesson, and Doc would come back and with his smile and make everybody feel better, and Doc would give out these little Milky Ways. I'm on dialysis because of Doc. 26 years worth of Milky Ways. So I want everybody to get all you former runners, get a Milky Way on the way out on Doc. And then Doc one time brought this drink over to my house. I'm going, what is this, Doc? He goes, you're going to love it. Well, thank God that it wasn't alcoholic, because I'd be in rehab now. I've drank so much cherry wine throughout the last 26 years that, well, anyway, I'm not going to talk about my urine. But now, I used to spend a lot of nights with Doc. A lot of restless nights. Usually in the morning, I'd hear this noise, and I'm going, Doc, what the hell are you doing? Well, Doc was going through his overnight bag. So what do you get a man who's going to move out of town? I got him some overnight bags. I got, Doc, I got you a small overnight bag and a larger overnight bag. This is what Doc would wake me up to every morning. Doc, what the heck? So, Doc, I got you some travel luggage. With all my heart, Doc, you've been incredible. I just want everybody to give him a big hand. I got one more thing to say, and Doc probably's not going to say this, but Doc's a history man, and he always talked about our boy, the Senator, Davy Crockett. How Davy Crockett was left the state of Tennessee and told everybody goodbye and was moving to Texas. Well, Doc has left the state of Tennessee, and I want everybody to know we've missed a good man, and we look forward to seeing you next time, Doc. Thank you so much for everything. I love you.
Thank you, Coach Gautier. Really appreciate it. You can stand, Doctor. Okay, thank you. Well, you get that, these honorary doctor to Coach Gautier, okay? I sure am glad you amended that Davy Crockett story. I was sweating over there. If anybody ever knows the original story, you can talk to me after it's over with. A couple of other things before I get Dr. Jones himself up here. By having an office next to him for 14 years, he would come out after grading papers and all. And like I said, we had some other language going on. Cattywampus was one of them. But I just learned just a little while ago that there was something he always would say. I never exactly could pronounce it properly, but it came from the Yosemite Sam cartoon, evidently. But he'd walk out of the office and look at me and go, racker, schnacker, 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 schnacker. Just like that, grumbling to himself about this frustration of just having to release himself after studying or grading a lot of tests. So that was one of those words that I never could actually spell, but I knew it was what he was meant by it. And here, like, as we all get older, little things start happening. So one of the things that, he would say here in the last few years, and I said, well, Mike, how you doing today? He said, well, I'm doing okay, but I'll get over it. So well, anyway, I want to get to hearing from me telling stories. I want to get Dr. Jones up here. He's the man of the hour. This is the reception for him. So we'll get him up here and say a few words to all of you. And I assume you play golf on Wednesdays, don't you, Coach Gautier?
Well, you're seeing double now. We're both Mike Joneses. I will say a few words, but they will be short. I love you people more than I can state. I was very lucky to be here, to be hired to be a band of brothers to put together an engineering program that was accredited. And we did that. Became accredited in 1977 and have been continuously accredited ever since. And some of those people are here today, some are not, and some are deceased, some are close to being deceased, that's me. And, but I worked with a good group of people. I really did, and I feel so fortunate that I was able to do that. I worked with a good group of students too, and fortunate to have students who were interested in what they were learning, and they wanted to be interested in how to teach it to others. And so that was another thing that was great about this. But the time for me to retire came last year, and I had some health problems that you can see here, and so I had to do it. But I miss it. I'll tell you the truth right now. By God, I miss it. I really do. And I look around, I can see some of my former students here now. I miss you guys and girls. And we did well because of you. And we've accomplished a lot because of you. We've grown, and I hope that we'll continue to grow and that you'll continue to think you are proud of being a part of UCC, because I sure am proud of you. Now, the faculty that are here now, I know most of them, but some of them I do not know. And but I think they're going to be influenced by the ones I do know to do a good job of teaching. That's what I think is the most important thing to be done. I lost a job appointment because I expressed to the Dean of Engineering at Knoxville that I, in response to his question, he said, you got a reward for being a top 25% of the teachers at North Carolina State for 2 years. And I said, I've stepped into it, buddy. I said, yeah, I think that's the most important thing we ought to do. And he looked at me like he's hiding something. And so I went on about talking about teaching. I said, that's the most important thing we've got to do. And then he said, well, okay. Well, now you've got to go have an interview with faculty on staff here and with the department head, and we'll talk about your situation at the end of the day. And so I did that, and I found out fairly quickly that at that particular school, at that particular time, they didn't really care about teaching. They really didn't. I discovered that. I kept stepping into it by mentioning that. And so when my end of the day showed up and I was exiting from the department head's office, he said, what did you learn today? And I said to him, well, I learned you're trying to build a research program, but the most important thing to you is bringing in money for research. And then he said to me, he said, yes, that's correct. He said, I don't think you'd be happy here. So he gave me the check on the way out the door for cover my travel. And so I couldn't come here. Or I came here, that's what happened. And but I had the opportunity to do what I wanted to do. And if you get that opportunity, take it. Do what you wanted to and feel you're really blessed to be able to do. and you'll have a happier life. You really will. I'm looking around, I see some faces now I haven't seen in a long time that I've learned to respect and love very much. Bill Gautier is one of them. and and let's see, I don't know where he went. Chancellor Stacy, is he still here? Oh, there he is. I never did get a chance to kick his butt. But I would have, by God. And I see some others. Greg Cedric back there was very instrumental in our getting this building. I kept calling it the engineering building. And one of my staff said, "It's not the engineering building, it's the UTC building. It's more than engineering in here." I said, "Well, we're the ones that should be here, or I don't know about the others." And so we were really blessed to get this wonderful building. And I enjoyed teaching here so many years. And if I weren't so beat up, I would still be here teaching because I loved it very much. So my last words to you would be, love what you do. Love what you learn or trying to learn, and then do it. Do what you want to do. And even you might have to beat some people down who are trying to keep you from doing it because they want to do something else to make their lives different and better. And don't worry about what the major truth is. The major truth to me is teaching. Teaching, by God. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. And at least I did it as long as I could. Thank you very much, Steve. There'll be a quiz on this on Friday.
Just a few last words. First of all, just to let everybody know that there is a Mike Jones Scholarship in Engineering that's been established. Caleb Whitted over there in the development office, if you want to talk to him about how you'd like to donate, if you'd like to donate in Mike's behalf, feel free to talk to him after this. It's kind of poetic that, I'm doing this because I've seemed to I've followed Mike all my career. I came in, as a young professor from Nashville through Cookeville, and he was the second person I ever met at UTC. Bill Gurley was the first. And he took me under his wing and mentored me throughout my young years here at UTC. And after Bill passed away, then Mike, gave up his director of freshman engineering and advising, and I got it. So I followed him for that. And then Mike had some illness, and I ended up becoming the department head for a while, for 8 years, and after Mike had done that. So I've been following Mike for all these years, and I'm following him now speaking. So it just seems so poetic for me to do that. I really appreciate you. You've been a great friend, colleague, teacher, and I appreciate you for everything you've been to me in my life. And thank you for bringing me into the family, to knowing Michael and Leila, and of course now you're with Michael and Jill and her kids. So that's good. Few last things. Just want to remind you that feel free to look at the artwork, the original artwork that Mike Jones has done over the years. Stay and watch the slides that have been put together. And of course, this isn't church. I'm not the minister, and this isn't a classroom, and I'm not the professor saying, once we quit talking, you can leave. don't leave. We have plenty of things to do. Meet Mike, visit with each other. I really do appreciate everyone being here. And this is the end of the formal remarks. So have a good rest of the day. Enjoy yourselves in here. Enjoy the food. I do want to make a special thanks to Susan Cardwell, Andrea James, who's back there, is our longtime administrative assistant in mechanical engineering for Mike and myself, and Holly Beeland, who helped put the slideshow together. All this doesn't come about just by itself, so I appreciate all the effort that went into it, and even some of that I may not have named. So thank you very much. Good to see a lot of people I haven't even seen in a long, long time. So have a good rest of the day. Enjoy each other's company.